Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. And today he is indeed going to be joined by his personal bodyguard, the Swords of Chaos. And it looks like he's going to be facing off against the Vampire Counts, who shall be helmed by the Red Duke, Elsif himself, who's going to be atop his mighty zombie dragon. So as far as the Chaos build goes, it's going to be pretty much the definition of elite. So in the front line, we have 4 groups of Chosen with halberds, and this is kind of how a lot of people used to play the matchup beforehand. Well, I guess before the most recent couple patches. So essentially, you use a bunch of halberds, right? Because Chosen with halberds, they can beat pretty much all of the infantry of the Vampire Counts. On top of that, they have anti-large, they have armor piercing. So against the bigger targets like Vargulfs, Terrorgeist, things like that, they're going to be a little bit more resilient. So it's a very old school style of build. I mean, this almost looks like something that we saw at the very end of Total War Warhammer 1, when the Swords of Chaos were just like this elite, just world beater of a unit. Something happened to them. I'm not sure if they got nerfed along the way, but they certainly aren't as good as they used to be. But nonetheless, we're going to get to see them in action. So we do have Archaon, the Ever-Chosen here, Burning Skull, Fireball, and it looks like Cascading Firecloak. He does also have the Slayer of Kings and the Crown of Domination. So going with a Death Star build like this, if you're going to be facing Vampire Counts, I mean, this is pretty much one of the main instances in which it works, you have to bring the Crown of Domination, because Chosen, for some godforsaken reason, Chaos God's forsaken reason, are not immune to psychology. So giving them that immune to psych against zombie dragons and just all the different terror-causing units, including the dreaded Black Coach over here, is going to be super powerful, because if they break and get terror routed, what often happens is the Vampire Count player will just kind of isolate them and take them apart. So having 4 groups of Chosen with great opens here, and on top of that, he does have the Swords of Chaos. You do have the Guardian ability, so if they are near Archaon, you're going to be able to give him, I believe, 15% physical resist, because it did get changed recently. On top of that, they're immune to Psych, but I think that's because of the Crown of Domination, but I can't remember if they have that as a baseline thing. We'll have to go ahead and check. We do also have Chaos Marauders in the back, and on top of that, we have Dragon Ogres and Poison Hounds. A very good choice here. Dragon Ogres are a more, typical pick against the Vampire Counts. They're able to kind of fight Blood Knights. Now, not in a head-up fight, because Blood Knights do have really good anti-large, massive charge bonus, and these guys are lightly armored, which makes them like a buttery target for Blood Knights. But if you support them with like Poison Hounds and like maybe use some halberds to kind of screen them, these guys are a great anti-large tool. They have pretty good mass. They can push in against the Red Duke, against Vargulfs. They're incredibly good. Against Black Coach, they're very good. So this is a really good pick here by the Chaos player. And for the Vampire Counts, looks like a pretty solid army as well. He does have the Red Duke up in the skies, and it looks like he does have Invocation, Von Hill's Dance Kebab, as well as Raised Dead. So pretty standard stuff there. For the front line, it's going to be Zombos, which is good. Just kind of trickle them in. Tires the opponent out, and more importantly, pins them in place and allows you to get good breath attacks with the Red Duke. We have 2 Vargulfs. So Vargulfs here have been nerfed recently, but nonetheless, they've always been pretty good against Chaos, I think. I mean, Chaos can fight them with like Dragon Ogre Shaggus, but Vargulfs have like this weird attack animation where sometimes they can really fight above their pay grade. So he does have 2 Vargulfs here. In the secondary line, a very, very good choice by the Vampires. He has a bunch of Graveguard with great opens, which, are potentially going to be a saving grace here. They will trade efficiently with halberds. Chosen with halberds are like so elite that they can kind of fight other great weapon units and trade well. But, halberds typically have slower attack rates, are not as good against other great weapon units as like, Chosen with great weapons, for example. But I think the halberds are a better choice for the Vampires, or for the Chaos here. We have a Necromancer in the back as a mana battery, a couple of Fellbats up in the sky. We do also have the dreaded Black Coach. And yeah, this is a very solid build. He's got some spears in the back. So guys, I'm very excited to see how this goes. So on that note, let's have some fun. So right here up in the skies, the Red Duke is going to be flying over, probably just doing a little bit of scouting here. Chaos doesn't have any missiles, so he can pretty much do as he pleases. I would imagine he's probably going to get some sort of a breath attack here. Perhaps he's just kind of looking for that juicy angle, so probably just lining up on the far side and shooting down the flank would be pretty good. Although the Chaos player is probably privy to this and could potentially dodge it, so maybe he's going to wait. But no, it looks like there's going to be an attack, but it's right when the guy starts to move. And it looks like he does actually cancel the breath attack, so very, very good micro there, just making sure not to waste that on moving troops, which is not going to be super effective against. So the Swords of Chaos going to be lurking near Archaon, just kind of escorting him. Dragon Ogres, as well as the Poison Hounds in the back, just going to be kind of maintaining the flanks. And the Chosen, Swords of Chaos going to be going in and attacking the zombies, which is like, they're such a goddamn cool looking unit. Look at these guys. I wish they were more popular for sure, but so far they probably racks up a whopping 1 kill against the Tithe. But yeah, the Tithe is getting burned down pretty quick in terms of HP. So Swords of Chaos, I mean, they do have really good offensive stats. 50 weapon strength with a bonus for infantry, good AP, and of course the Chosen with halberds are a little bit overextended here. They did get a breath attack. They're going to get attacked in the back. Probably what I would recommend with those guys is forming a bit of a flank denial right here instead of like engaging, just to force your opponent into a tighter circle near your Crown of Domination. Granted, like I said, Chosen are some of the most elite infantry in the game. They're holding very strong, and the Dragon Ogres are going to be lending their aid. And in the center, though, I mean, the Swords of Chaos are literally a lawnmower. I'm extremely impressed with their output. I mean, they've killed, yes, it's just zombies, but the rate at which they killed them, plus 85 melee defense right now, they're really cutting through these guys pretty quick. And, if anyone wants to go for Archaon, he's going to be immune to, or not immune to Psych, but he's going to have the Guardian. In the back, it looks like some of the Hounds for the Vampire Counts are going to be chasing off those Chaos Hounds right there. So pretty spooky stuff. And it looks like a fat burning head going to be going down, just roasting, burning through the witches, digging through the ditches, Dragula, Rob Zombie, all that kind of good stuff going on here. So you can see these guys, man, Big cast that goes like all the way down the formation. But Archaon isn't going to take this shit sitting down through the fire. He's with his Swords of Chaos, and he massacres that support Necromancer. So the Necromancer has gone down. Vargulf's in the meantime going to be just guerrilla pounding here on the Dragon Ogres. So it looks like all three of the single entities for the Vampires are going to be trying to take out the Dragon Ogres, which is a good choice. It's one of the hardest counters to his army here. However, guys, look how quick these Graveguard are dying. So the Swords of Chaos have literally just been buzzsawing through these guys. 80 kills. The Graveguard are just getting melted by Archaon plus the Swords of Chaos. I mean, it's an incredibly quick kill here. On the far side, the Chosen with Halberds have won both their fights, so the Graveguard lost that fight even with Invocation of Nehek. So that's what's so cool about the dual purpose of Halberds in the Vampire matchup. So right there, they've done pretty good. And this flank pretty much heavily won by Chaos, but this flank very heavily dominated by the Vampire count. So the Red Duke, the Vargulfs, the Black Coach, all these guys are just swamping. But the Chosen are still steady, believe it or not, and they've still racked up 74 kills, which isn't bad. Of course, they have anti-large, so they're going to be good against a lot of these spooky big targets here. And some of the summoned troops, these zombies, are going to be disappearing, of course, with the nerf to summons. Now, the Swords of Chaos have been doing really good, actually. 95 kills, but they don't want to be fighting Vargulfs. I mean, yes, they do fire damage, which is going to give them a little bit of extra punch, but I would certainly pull them back. And you can see here the Chaos player is going to be pulling those guys back and, just get the Halberds in, then stack them on top, because you have the tank and spank. Well, 2 spank. You have double spank and tank. Well, you guys get the picture, right? So, I mean, a lot of damage output coming in from this Chaos Force. Archaon's pretty safe and sound, and he's actually, he is on foot, so he's going to be a little bit tough to snipe out. Characters on horse typically take a little bit more damage because they don't like get punted. It's kind of a strange mechanic with the game. A nice breath attack coming in from the Red Duke there, very good stuff. Bounce power a little bit in the favor of the Vampire counts here, but Chaos still has a lot of good troops. They have Chosen, they have the Swords of Chaos here. But the Vampires, I mean, he's doing a really good job just keeping his leads together, getting those invocations, and also making sure his Vargulfs don't overextend too much off the Skeletons and these other troops. But the Swords of Chaos coming in for an apocalyptic charge over here, going to be going after the Graveguard. So it seems like the Chaos player is methodically using the Swords of Chaos to just kind of roam around and take out the armored infantry. Man, they are actually doing really good work against the Graveguard, you can say that. Burning Head going to be going down the formation, which does hit the Skeleton Spearmen, as well as the zombies on the far side. So the Chosen are really grinding them out, but the bounce power is still in the favor of the Vampire counts, simply because the Red Duke and the 2 Vargulfs are in pretty good shape. Black Coach is pretty much in perfect shape, but look at these swords just going ham right here. But Archaon's going to be a tough cookie to crack, especially with all the Chosen here. He does give them immune to psych, so they're pretty much going to fight to the bitter end. Chosen almost have like 100 base leadership. It's pretty close to that. Not quite that of like Temple Guard, but it's still not bad at all. Also, Chaos does have some Marauders in the back. Looks like they may have been left back there to kind of deal with Hound and actually forgotten about, but I'm sure they're going to be piling in, and you can see he does pull those bad boys in. Swords of Chaos are still going. These guys have 124 kills, and they'll certainly have no problem killing Fellbats if the Fellbats want to go fisticuffs here, but it looks like they're going to be pull in here against the Black Coach. And the Black Coach, I don't know if it's weak to fire. I don't think it is, but anyway, Swords of Chaos going to be coming in. Vampires going in for a big Alpha Strike, so committing all of their resources here. Pretty much, this is going to be it. This is the apocalyptic battle to decide the fate of Middle Earth here, and you can see that there's going to be summons coming down over here. I believe there are some vampiric summons. Yes, it looks like there was some zombie over there, and the Halberds are doing very good though. I mean, they're holding firm. Archaon really the MVP here though, because the immune to psych is just so useful. In many other circumstances, there would be terror routes and different things going on, but Archaon's just giving the business here, and you can see the Swords of Chaos are actually putting a big dent here in the Black Coach, and of course Archaon's helping, but a huge breath attack coming in from El Sif up in the skies, getting a ton of work on this guys, and here comes the Zombie Dragon. So the Zombie Dragon jumps in, punts a couple Chosen, very, very close fight. Bounce power is pretty much dead, even maybe a little bit in the favor of the Vampires here, but the Black Coach is crumbling here. Archaon and his Halberds are working it down. The other Vargulf here is also pinned in by some of the Swords of Chaos, who again do fire damage, really, really pertinent here, and the Halberds and the Marauders and all those other guys are immune to psychology. So for once, the Death Star is actually like working against the Vampire counts. The Warriors of Chaos really benefiting from the auras from Archaon, and that's some pretty badass stuff. The Slayer of Kings is going to be getting pops. Archaon's combat stats are going to be out of the roof, 769, that's what she said. And it's going to be doing some decent work against the Vargulf as well. In the distance, you can see those poor Chaos Warhounds are being bullied by the Dire Pack. Dire Pack, of course, a much superior Hound unit. But the Chosen are just, they're bending, but they're not breaking. 26 right here, we got 35 right here, we got 37 Chosen with Halberds with the Cascading Fire Cloak. So those guys are going to be meaty. And all of the Vampire Count's forces are really just kind of crumbling it up here. 152 kills on the Swords of Chaos. So this has got to be one of the first times I've seen the Swords of Chaos be like good in a long time. Granted, I feel like people are kind of afraid to try them in competitive play, so maybe they could actually have a bit of a niche against Vampires. Who knows? Great play here. So the bounce power with that does go in the favor of the Warriors of Chaos. So the Chosen just outlast, just sheer endurance coming in, motivated by the Ever-Chosen himself. This Vargulf is going to be going down to Archaon and the Halberds. Oh, the dramatic punt in there. Look at that. He just screeching. just like as he flies through there. That's pretty funny. But anyways, you can see here the Red Duke is going to land, but of course he got slapped with army losses. So that was pretty much the end of the game. So beautiful game by both those players. I thought Gunlog's army was very good. Red Duke, he had AP. He had plenty of armor piercing with the Black Coach and the Vargulfs. He had spears. He had Fellbats and Dire Pack to chase down Marauder Horsemen. Gunlog's build was super well rounded. He played well, but That's a very unorthodox Chaos build for sure. Archeon Death Star with the Crown of Domination, Slayer of Kings, plus the Swords of Chaos, which were just kind of methodically picking off the Graveguard. That was super big, and the Dragon Ogres didn't do much. They got isolated. Goonlog did a really good job taking those guys out, but yeah, that was a really cool game. So I just want to thank Brennus for sending that one in. It's very rare that you get to see the Swords of Chaos do so well. I think maybe the Vampires might have had a better chance had they just focused the Swords of Chaos with the Vargulfs earlier. I mean, the Swords of Chaos do fire damage, but nonetheless, they don't have like a bonus for Large or anything. So the Vargulfs would be pretty good against them. So I think focusing those guys down would have been pretty good to get rid of the Guardian for Archeon, plus also to protect the Graveguard. Because the Graveguard just got, like, the swords just went one by one, just killing all the Graveguard. And that really took away the counter to the Chosen. From there, the Chosen were just unimpeded. They just kind of had their way. And yeah, that was a tricky one, though. I don't know. That build would be a pretty tough cookie to crack. Now, a lot of Vampires could bring Manfred von Karstein as well, who has Lord of Death, so Fate Abunos and Spirit Leeches would have been incredibly powerful against his army, so that's something to do as well. But again, very well played to Brennus as well as Goonlog. It was a great game. Warriors of Chaos Vampire Counts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this community cast, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.